All right. Welcome to the 34th episode of the Bloomers podcast. My name is Amr. If you're new here, this channel is about life, mental health, things we can do better in life. At least all the stuff is like my opinion. Just talk about it here on a platform and share it with other people. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then sit and watch these videos. All right. So today I want to talk about social media. I know my upload schedule is all messed up. I was planning on releasing multiple videos. This one, and then a guest episode in January, but I did get sick, like with some viral infection, like almost 2 weeks ago now, and it just completely ruined everything in my life. But I'm slowly getting better, and yeah, I just I love making these videos, so I gotta do it in some way. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'll start out by saying this. Just reflecting on, my life since September. In the last 4 months of 2022, it really came down to those months were like some of the worst months of my life. And I know I made videos and I looked happy in those, and I was happy in the moment. But in general, I felt like I was really unhappy. That's largely because of that's my own fault for thinking that way, and allowing myself to be in a place of unhappiness. That's my fault, but sometimes you can't help it, and sometimes it just happens like that. But yeah, that time really sucked, and I think one of the damn it. All right, one of the biggest lessons from like that bad time for me was like I started to realize that what I pay attention to becomes my reality. What I focus on, the energy I give to certain things, to the negative forces in life, I guess, that becomes my reality. So that was what I was doing back then. It's just like I had a really hard semester, and instead of trying to be proactive with my studying, I kind of was like really lazy, procrastinating, and then that all like just affected my mood, and just affected, I don't know, it's just tough. But then I started to realize like that was the power to my happiness. That is how I can stay happy. And then I started to think about applying that in different ways in my life. So obviously one is with school. That's like the biggest part of mental health for students. But it also came to friends and family as well. And then it also came to, personal habits and lifestyle and choices. And one of those choices was social media. And literally like 90% of the stuff you see on here. And then I started to realize like, if what I focus on becomes my reality, then this is not the way to go. Using my phone and social media is not the way to go, because your brain, the human brain has a really hard time differentiating a real experience from a fake one. And I felt like when I see these things on social media, other people's lives, other people's thoughts, other people's business, it's just like that's becoming my reality. It's making me more anxious. It's making me more unhappy. So there came a point where I needed to focus on limiting this stuff to like a very low amount of time in my day. Because if you spend more than like 10 minutes on Instagram or TikTok a day, or at least for me, it just doesn't work. It's just not good. And I've literally been doing this for like 10 years now. Like I got Instagram in January of 2013 when I was 10 years old or 9 years old. So now I'm 19 right now. So it's been 10 years of this stuff, and it's just like there has to come a point where you make a change, because it's just easy to stay doing the wrong thing. It's easy to just stay doing the same thing. Like, I was cleaning the house today. I noticed that it was super dirty in this room, so I started to vacuum the floor. And after I finished vacuuming this area, I was like, I already have the vacuum out anyways, I might as well just vacuum the rest of the house as well. So then I just did that. And it's just the same thing applies. Like, you're watching Netflix, you're sitting down with friends or family, and you're watching a bad movie. It's easier to just stay watching that bad movie than to go out and everyone have to choose another movie again, you know? It's so same thing with social media. It's easy to just keep on scrolling every day, keep on spending the time you spend on social media, rather than to try to focus and change that bad habit, because it is a bad habit. It just is. Because how many successful people do you know who have spent like a lot of time on their phones? I can't name any. I mean, obviously there's like TikTokers and YouTubers, but like even that stuff, it's not sustainable for a long time. There are very few people who can sustain success or make a living for themselves off of these things for an extended amount of time. So that's my thought process with the problem. That's why I think it's a problem. And like, just distraction in general. Have you ever heard people say, like back in the 90s, like those old commercials for like the web and stuff? It's like, oh, I'm just surfing the web. That phrase. Well, it's not really outdated because it still applies today. Like, the web. Okay, what does a spider do with a web? Well, they catch their prey, and they, I don't know, wrap them in web or something, and then they kill the prey. So I don't know, like a spider killing a fly. And then surfing. When you're surfing, you're on a board on a wave. And yes, you're choosing to be on the wave. You're choosing to surf. You're choosing to be on your phone. But the thing is that the wave is actually controlling you. You're choosing to be there, but the wave is the one that's controlling. So it's the same thing with our phones and the internet. The wave, the internet, is controlling us. We're choosing to surf on it, by being on our phones. And the web, so the spider, is sucking the life out of us. And it's ruined social interactions for me. When I talk to new people, it's like it's harder. And I noticed that when I was starting this semester, we have group work in each of the main classes that there are, and meeting new people was just harder than it was like before. And I don't know, I see myself as an antisocial person, but I also like to socialize. I don't know, it's just, it's hard to explain that. But this social media stuff does not help, bro. Like, this is not a new topic. It's not like I'm the first one to say this, obviously not. But like, in general, it's just not a good thing. It's a highlight reel. It's just showing, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, you want to show people your perfect life, I guess. But it's funny. I started to realize that I was doing that. I was also showing people my, perfect life or whatever. So then I wrote in my Instagram bio on my main account that social media isn't real. I don't know. I just feel like I needed to put that there, just as a reminder to myself and to other people that like I don't know, you look at my account, this just isn't real. Like, it's not, the experiences obviously are real, but you're not seeing everything in my life. Like, you're not seeing all the bad stuff, because who wants to show that? What's the fun in that? And like, another thing, why do we have this built in us to like share? What is, like, where does that come from? Why do we like I see this in adults, like I'm talking about like grown adults, like middle-aged adults, like 50, 40, like our parents, and even older than that. There's just this need to like send your photos of what you're doing to your friends and family, which literally I'm not saying is wrong. I'm saying that the overindulgence and the excessiveness is not right, because you can do all this stuff in a limited form, and everything's fine. Like, if you spend less than like 30 minutes on your phone a day, you're insane. Like, you're awesome. I love that. That's where I'm trying to be. It's all a struggle. But like, why do we have this? Who made this culture? This is like just taking over our lives. And I don't know. I do not like it. And another thing I also wanted to talk about is like, I literally catch myself randomly just like on an app. And that's just because this has become like second nature. Scrolling and like the movements I do with my finger on my phone have just become like, muscle memory. Like, I was eating breakfast a couple days ago, and then I was like, okay, I'm not going to use my phone. Like, I just want to sit here and just like, live and eat. I don't want to be distracted by anything. And then literally, I'm not even kidding, like 3 minutes later, I was already on Instagram. Sorry. Like, I found myself already on Instagram, just like my finger just swiped up, the Face ID happened, and I just clicked on it. There's a certain spot that Instagram is on my phone, and then my thumb just knows to click that spot. And then I just found myself scrolling, like, and that's what I said like before. Like, it's just, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've had Instagram for 10 years now, and Snapchat is about to come up as well as 10 years. YouTube goes back even more. Like, there comes a point as when you come into adulthood, it's a curse and it's a blessing, where you start to realize the important things and the unimportant things. And one of the unimportant things is you start to like realize that like all this like showing off, all this clout, all this like prestige we try to get from social media just goes into that unimportant category. And like, for me as well, like just talking with people about like random events for a long amount of time, that also comes in that category. Like, I love to talk about like sports with my friends, and I love to like send random memes to my friends. But like, for me, when that period of like doing that becomes greater than like 10 minutes, it's not a good thing. And it makes me I don't know, it just contributes to my unhappiness. And yeah, I think we should all take steps to just stop doing this stuff. I mean, if you're a kid, I mean, who the hell cares? Like, you have so much time, and like you don't have the responsibilities. But like people with us people with responsibilities, I mean, just think about this. All right, Floyd Mayweather said this in an interview. He's like, okay, so a normal person, right? They have a 9-to-5 job, or they go to school, 9 to 5, whatever it is. We all have a life from like the morning to the like late afternoon. So let's say you work or you go to school from 9 to 5, right? Then in the morning you got, your morning routine plus breakfast. So let's call that 45 minutes to an hour. Then you got lunch, which is, let's call it 30, 45 minutes, whatever. Then you got dinner, which is probably another hour. So that's 8 plus 2 plus like 0.5. So I don't know, what is that? 10.5 hours. Then you add sleep on top of that, so 18.5, right? Yeah. Or however many hours of sleep you get. Like, you see that, like, do you see how much time you really have in the day? And like, a lot of the day is spent preparing for the next day. So how much time do we really have? Like, if we're doing all that, and then you add social media on top of that, and you add like watching TV and like watching YouTube and like sorry, but you can see how that can become a problem. And I'm not saying that like we shouldn't relax, because obviously relaxing is good and we need relaxation. We're not machines. We're not 100% efficient. We need some downtime. But the problem is that when you're on social media, that form of relaxation, you're not choosing, and it's not, fully your choice with like everything you're doing, everything you're engaging in, and all the thoughts of other people that are becoming yours. I don't know. That's my opinion. Again, I could be wrong about this stuff. And you're free to disagree, and you can talk about it with me. I'm totally cool about that. But yeah, I just, you need to, as an adult and as an emotionally mature person, or I'm not saying I am mature again. No. But like, you need to ask yourself the correct questions about like, is this really how I want to live my life? Is this really gonna make me a better person? Like, is this really the best use of my time? And if the answer is no, then you have to try and make some change. And I feel like that's a lot of what adulthood is about. And becoming your own person and straying away from like just what everyone else is doing, which is scrolling and sharing and clicking. And while I'm at it, I guess thank you for clicking on this because as much as we both contribute to the problem, this is also kind of the solution, because social media isn't all bad. There's a lot of good content creators out there, and a lot of people are trying to spread a good message, and I'd like to think that I'm part of that category, but you can disagree if you like. But yeah, I think that social media really has given me a platform, obviously, and I'm grateful for that, and it allowed me to meet with a lot of people, and a lot of people have seen my videos because of that. And I've seen a lot of other people's videos. Oh my god, if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't have like half the stuff I say on this podcast. Other people have helped me so much through social media, and obviously those like social media is a way of showing what like the mainstream media doesn't show. But to me, the negatives that come from like all the other stuff, that outweighs the benefits of what social media can do for me in a good sense. That's why I try to limit my time on there. And I feel like I really learn from podcasts, other people's podcasts. So that's where I like to spend a lot of my time now. Like driving in the car or like going to the gym. That's what I listen to, instead of just like, at the gym, scrolling, whatever. I think it's healthier to like listen to someone. And again, your brain has a hard time telling, a fake experience from a real one. So it feels like you're actually like, they're listening with the person, which is cool, but it's also really bad for us in other senses. But yeah, I feel like things like TikTok, really sparked up the buildup of this social media problem for me, because before that, I feel like I would still spend a lot of time on social media, but it wasn't as overstimulating as it has become. Because TikTok, dude, is just like, I can't describe how much I hate that app. And I know someone's going to be like, or someone who knows me is going to be thinking like, dude, you literally make videos on there. And yes, like I do, but I literally just clip podcasts, like my podcast, and like put it on there. And I'm trying to like, the whole like purpose of this podcast is to help myself and to help other people. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like there's good content creators out there who are trying to like improve the platform and like, you know, create a good message. Again, and I'm not saying that the overstimulating stuff is necessarily bad, because on its own it's fine, but when it piles up, that's when it becomes a problem. But like TikTok, dude, like have you ever scrolled on that app and like actually thought about what you're looking at? And it goes back to that thing I said earlier, like your brain can't tell a real experience from a fake one. Like if you let's say you scroll on TikTok, right, and you see a lot of people with clear skin and you have acne, you're going to start to believe, like just automatically, you're going to start to believe that people have clear skin and it's something that's normal and it's something that's good, because these people are showing off their clear skin to you. And, you know, they seem perfect, you seem imperfect. That's how it works. That's how the process works. At least for me, that's my way of thinking about it. And like, let's say you follow a lot of crime related content. So, I don't know, people who cover, you know, killers and stuff. Well, now anytime you walk in public, you're going to be thinking that crime is much more like there than it actually is. Like, I remember in like 8th grade, I had a sleepover with my friends and we watched like a bunch of horror stories, animated horror stories, and like the ones that with just the audio. And for like 2 months after that, every single day I would come home alone. I would be the first one home, and I would always be looking over my shoulder and like opening like the shower curtain before I like used the washroom, like and it was seriously because I was afraid. But like a month before I watched those videos, it was completely fine. But I loved watching those videos and I loved being scared by them, and then that affected how I thought about my normal life. You see what I mean? Like, that's the type of stuff I don't like, and that's why I've never kept TikTok on my phone. And even with Instagram, like I did something at the end of December where I deleted Instagram off my phone, and then I would re-download it like once every morning, scroll in it, talk to my friends for like 5-10 minutes, delete it, and then repeat. And that was really good. And I'm actually gonna do that now, because now that I realize how good that was. But I understand. Like I told that to someone, and they told me like, dude, if you can't like have the self-control to not click the app, like that's your fault. Which that person was totally right. Like I agree, but for me, as someone who's used this app for like 10 years every single day, that's all that I feel I can do at this point, is just try to like limit it to like just once every morning. Once every day in the morning. You know? Just, you know, speaking of these apps, the last thing I want to talk about here is like, social media is just designed to keep you on it. That's only something that I realized like in the last like 2 years, maybe less than that. But I never actually thought about it before that time. Like growing up, I never thought like these people who made these apps were like just trying to battle for our attention. I just always thought it was like something that they made for people to connect. But then when you start to think about it, like, and this whole new thing where they're tracking your different apps and your Safari or whatever you use, your internet, and then they try to like personalize the experience for you, and they try to make a calculated algorithm of what you see when you're on your home page or wherever. That's really ruined it for me, because I think when Instagram first, or like back in like the early 2010s when it first came out, I don't think that was a thing. And I think the same with Facebook. Like I remember a point where your feed on Instagram was literally in a chronological order. There we go. From the current time. So like if someone posted like 5 minutes ago, you'd get that, and then you scroll more and it's 15, and then it's 20 minutes, then it's 21 minutes, So somewhere around like 2016 and 17, they changed that. So slowly they just started to realize how much of like a great thing this is for taking advantage of people and getting their attention, that they started to change the focus of the apps. Because I believe at their cores, the intention was to connect people, but then that started to slowly shift. But I don't know if people remember this, and I don't fully remember if this was true, but I swear there was at one point where TikTok literally hid the clock on the top left of your iPhone. They literally hid that from you when you were on the app or on the homepage. And to me, that's the clearest sign that this is literally trying to keep you from like doing other stuff in your life, and it's just trying to keep you on the app. I'm like really, really sure that was a thing. If someone has like a recording of some TikTok video from a long time ago, please check, because I'm really sure that was a thing. And I mean, even think about like, I heard this on a podcast by Hamza Yusuf. It's called "What's Your Mind Full Of." A lot of the ideas I talk in this, I said in this video, are from that podcast, but he was like breaking down the word advert. So it's like obviously trying to take your attention away. And that's literally all that social media is now, for the most part, is trying to battle for your attention, take it away from your things that you're doing in your real life, so they can make more money. And again, money is the root of all evil. I believe that very much, and I don't believe money buys happiness. To a certain extent, obviously, you need it to be happy, but you're not gonna be happy from material. But like damn, I'm getting off track here, but yeah, I don't know. I guess in closing, dude, like social media, man, try to limit it. Do not overindulge. I'll be the first one to tell you that I love video games, and I love like TV shows and like Breaking Bad. Sorry, The Last of Us on HBO, the new Harry Potter game coming out. Like I'll be the first one to play and watch all these things, but there's just a certain limit you need to follow, and you need to realize that like there are bigger things in your life, and these screens are ruining it, and the relationships we have with other people matter so much more than these things. And yeah, just need to separate the unimportant from the important. That's just been such a big thing in my life, and what you pay attention to determines your reality. That's such a beautiful line. I just love that. I love to hear that, because it makes me feel like I have power over my day instead of just being a slave to everything that happens, But yeah, I hope you learned something. I feel like I got a lot out, and I feel good after doing that. So hopefully you feel somewhat the same, I guess. But yeah, a lot more uploads are gonna happen this month. I have some people that I want to make some videos with, so yeah. Thanks for watching, And yeah, get off your phone now, okay? Get off. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, take care. See ya.